Hi, my name is Philip Reed, and I am the President and CEO of Phoenix National Business Group. Today, I'm going to give a presentation as to what my company does, what we stand for, and what we are about. Phoenix National Business Group is an online marketing, media, and production company that produces websites, professional social media platforms, and online video productions for companies, places of worship, and entrepreneurs. Our programs also includes a unique series of talk shows and online events that empower the public with information that will improve their lives, with positive, uplifting messages reflecting the love of God and His vision of grace and restoration for the world. We have and are pulling together a network of entrepreneurs and leaders that seek to change the world with the fundamental belief that without hope, dreams die. Not only do we develop and produce these programs, we also establish platforms for distribution through our social media presence, which has thousands of viewers throughout the internet. We also have our own channel, PNN, Phoenix National Network, that goes out to millions of people across the world on Roku and Amazon TV. Our motto is, when you win, we win, because we believe in helping normal people and businesses do extraordinary things by developing, creating, and publishing their ideas to the world. This is what Phoenix National Business Group does, and we do it proudly. If you would like more information about the services and products that we offer, please feel free to visit our website at phoenixnationalbusinessgroup.com, or you could give us a call at 914-297-PNBG. That is 914-297-7624. We do look forward to hearing from you, and see you soon. Phoenix National Business Group is now offering their online services on Roku and Amazon TV for only $99.99 per month. This is a limited time offer, so give us a call at 914-297-7624 for more information, or visit our website at phoenixnationalbusinessgroup.com. That is phoenixnationalbusinessgroup.com. See you soon. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to our Power Up events. Woo! And
we are here. We're ready to
again
run
with Ramona. What was that, Oscar?
I said we are here and ready to run another great show with Ramona.
Ramona, you let it roll off.
How do you like my
tongue,
lighting
okay?
today?
Let it roll off your tongue.
I'm looking kind of green today.
Yeah, green, like the Hulk green.
Yeah, okay.
So Ramona, welcome back.
Thank you.
We are so glad to have you, and this is our part 2 from yesterday. Am I right?
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. So go ahead, and we're excited to have you do your presentation.
Well, Phil, thanks for having me back. It's great to be back. I hope yesterday was inspiring for those that are looking for a personal financial reset, as we kind of wind down 2020 and head into 2021. Hope it inspired people to not look at the year as a loss, right? Just kind of how do we take what we've experienced and move forward? And today I'm going to talk about that for business owners. So if you're a business owner, you run a small business, a medium-sized business, and you had all these amazing plans for 2020, and then March happened and COVID came, and a lot of those plans looked like they just were tossed upside down and you've had to scrap them. Hopefully, this will be inspiring to you. So I'm going to share my screen. I do have a couple of slides that I hope people find helpful. So let me introduce myself. My name's Ramona Thomas. I am a financial advisor. I work with individuals, business owners, organizations, families around their finances. So I essentially help empower people to feel in control of their money. I do everything from comprehensive financial planning, investment advice, as well as actual investments in terms of securities and other kinds of investments. And today I'm going to talk about if you're a business owner and you are trying to figure out how to keep your business alive or grow your business during COVID, how to, again, take what we've experienced during 2020 and hit the ground running in 2021. So I wanted to start with this image as we are open because we've been hearing a lot on the news about the number of businesses that are closing. We're hearing about it every day, the number of businesses that are closing or that are filing bankruptcy. So if you are one of those businesses that are still open, bravo, good for you, for hanging in there. And if you're also trying to figure out what to do financially with your business, with your livelihood, I have some tips that I hope will help you salvage your business, but more importantly, your sanity, because I know what it's like to run a business. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of love that goes into it, but it's also a lot of stress. So let's just go on and get started here. Let's see if I can find the controls. There we go. So we've all been affected by COVID in a number of different ways, personally and professionally. If you're a business owner, you've experienced the financial impact of COVID on your business firsthand. And like I said earlier, we've been hearing every day about the number of people who file unemployment, the number of businesses that are closing, the number of larger companies that are filing bankruptcy. And I need to say this out front. There are a number of businesses, small businesses and large businesses, that are actually doing very well during COVID. I mean, I work with business owners whose businesses are growing and flourishing because of the nature of the business that they're in, or they've been able to adapt or pivot their business in a way that positioned them to do well. So, we've been living with COVID for 8 months. And it looks like it's going to be here for a while longer. So if you haven't already pivoted or made, I think that's going to be the word for 2020. So I'm not going to use that word again throughout my presentation here. But if you haven't made any changes in the way you do business, I'm really, in 8 months, if you haven't made any changes, I'm really sorry to tell you that the train's already left the station and you're just kind of sitting on the platform waiting for things to go back to the way they were before March. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think it's very unlikely that things are going to go back to the way they were. I think with COVID and with the changes in the way people are doing business, the way we're all living, we're going to be looking for a new normal. Some things will come back the way they were and other things are kind of changed forever. So if you haven't made any changes and you're just thinking, I'm going to wait this out, I hope you have enough resources to be able to do that, because the world is moving forward, businesses are moving forward, and life is moving forward with COVID. So I hope you're not one of those people, but if you are, now is the time to think about adjusting and making some changes. So if you're like, hey, Ramona, yeah, I run a business, I run a small business or a growing business. I had planned this year to be about growth, and COVID happened and I've had to put some things on hold. I've had to, I've lost some clients. I've, lost revenue. I've had to cut expenses. I was going to open up a facility, like all these things that kind of got stalled or paused. I hope that the tips that I'm about to share will help you maybe revive some of those plans, with COVID lessons in mind. Like, we've all learned things, but how do we sort of take those lessons learned into 2021? So my first tip is, if you haven't done this, talk to the financial professionals in your life. The first person, maybe not the first, so maybe there's not an order to this. I think it depends on your relationships and where you are in your business. You want to talk to your accountant. If you work with a CPA or accountant, everyone should have one. If you don't have an accountant and you run a business, that's not a good thing, because an accountant can help you in a lot of different ways, not only just in your financials, but certainly with taxes. That's a really great place, because there are all these different deductions and things that you can do as a business owner that your accountant will know that will help you from a tax perspective. So have a conversation with your accountant. And the first thing I would say is know where you are in your business. Where are you in your business? Know your numbers, the vital signs of your business. That includes your balance sheet. So know what you own, those are your assets, and know what you owe. And that's something you should be looking at every month as as your revenues and expenses change, as your financial position changes throughout COVID or has changed throughout COVID. You should have a really good handle on your balance sheet. You should know if you're in debt, if you have a business loan, or you maybe borrowed money years ago on a mortgage or a place, if you have a brick and mortar facility, you should know your financial position. If you don't have any debt and you just have assets or cash or equipment, you should know the state of your affairs on your balance sheet. Second thing you should know, and again, your accountant, your bookkeeper can certainly put together these statements for you if you don't do them yourself, but you want to make sure that you are going through them with your accountant. You want to know what your income statement, or you may hear P&L, your profit and loss. You want to know what's coming in and what's going out. These are your revenues and expenses. You want to be on top of that. Usually people do the monthly, but if you're in a dire situation or a situation where you're strapped for cash, you may be running your P&L weekly. You may be looking at, especially if you're in industries that have been really hurt, service industries, food, hospitality, if you're an event planner, things like that, where so much of your business was so dependent on face-to-face interaction, you might be running a weekly P&L, meaning at the end of the week, wherever your week ends, it can end on a Sunday, it can end on a Wednesday, you're looking at what came in this week, what do I need to pay? So that you're really on top of that and making sure that your cash flow is positive. You guys hear me talk about cash flow all the time. If you've watched any of my other sessions, it's just so important. It's really one of the vital signs of your business. So when you're meeting with your accountant, after you guys understand the vital signs of your business, you want to make sure that you're clear about any changes in the tax code this year. The IRS has made a number of provisions. As you may remember, we were able to file our taxes. There was an extension for July 15th, which moved a number of different things. So you want to talk to your accountant about changes in the tax code that could help you. And I'll just give you one example. The IRS was allowing people this year, because of the pandemic and because of the layoffs and everything that was happening in the economy, was allowing people who were under 59 and a half to borrow from their retirement plan. So if you have a 401k or IRA, you could borrow from your retirement plan without a tax penalty. Normally there is a tax penalty when you take out of your retirement when you're under the age of 59 and a half, but they were allowing that to allow people to access some of their retirement funds without the tax penalty, as long as you paid it back within, I believe it was 3 years. So your accountant will know about some of the changes, things that were suspended. I know everybody knows about the student loan payments that are in deference right now. So talk to your accountant about, are there other tax things that you can take advantage of, changes in the tax code for this year. The other thing you want to talk to your accountant about is, are there losses that you can write off from a tax perspective? Like, would that be helpful? So are there business losses or deductions? If you've had investment losses this year, I talked a little bit about this yesterday, you may want to ask about tax harvesting. Talk to your accountant about tax harvesting if you had some investment losses this year. So talk to your accountant about ways that you might be able to write those losses off, and that may be able to help you from a tax perspective and lowering your tax liability for the year. And if you haven't had a conversation with your accountant, a good accountant will have already reached out to you. But if you haven't had a conversation with your accountant, do this now, especially in preparing for 2021. The second financial professional you want to talk to is your banker. If you say, hey, Ramona, I don't have a banker, get one. If you have a business checking account or business account at a bank, talk to someone there, talk to a banker there, ask them about the services that they have. You are a client, they should be serving you. Ask about free checking. If you don't have free checking for your business account, find out how to do that. Ask about a line of credit, ask about a bank credit card, particularly one with 0% interest, maybe for 6 to 9 months. For those of you that are struggling with debt, that might be a way to pause the interest. You can roll over, any credit card balances, for 6 to 9 months if they have a 0% APR. Ask about promotions that they have for small business owners. I won't talk about the PPP, but you could ask about those too. All of that money, I understand, has already been given out, but ask about, small business loans, other kinds of resources that the bank has. You are a client, and they are there to serve you. So if you have any needs around banking, line of credit, credit cards, maintenance fee accounts, talk to someone about that. Find out what services they provide, because they want to keep your business. They want you there, and they should be providing you great service. And then the last professional I would say you should talk to is your financial advisor. You should make sure that you're working with an advisor to make sure that you have a plan for your financial future. And I know that's really hard when you're a business owner. The only thing you really focus on is your business, but you want to make sure that your personal finances are in check, in line, that you have a plan, especially if you're a business owner that's not taking a salary. A lot of people still don't do that. You want to make sure that you're planning for your own personal financial future. Are you putting money away in a SEP IRA or a simple IRA? These are ways, these are other options that can also affect your taxes. So if you don't have a financial advisor and you run a business, you should definitely reach out and talk to one. So first step, as you're thinking about how to salvage your business, grow your business, maintain your business through COVID, talk to your financial professionals, your accountant, your financial advisor, and a banker, business banker. The second thing I would say, as you think financially as it comes to your business, and I talked a little bit about this when I talked about your income statement and running your P&L, your profit and loss statement is looking at your expenses. Are there places where you can cut? If your revenues decreased this year, what you probably have already been slashing things, right? Maybe you slashed your marketing budget. Unfortunately, we've heard about layoffs. You might have had to let go staff, or you may have had to move to like virtual assistant, things like that. But where can you cut in your business? Can you still run your business on lower expenses? And I know that sounds a lot easier said than done, but just think about the way our lives have changed in terms of commuting and communicating. The way we move is different. So are there movements in your business and your business cycles, your operations that are different? Are you using less utilities because maybe you're not in your space as much? You have lower foot traffic. Maybe you're doing things more online, which, could be affecting your expenses. So just think about ways that you can cut, still provide the same quality service if you're a service business, or the same quality product if you're a product business, but are there places where you can, trim the fat a little bit, or cut down? And I would say this, if you have a brick and mortar facility, you have very clear fixed expenses. You have a landlord, or you may have a mortgage if you own your business. And if you're behind on your revenues and you may be falling behind on your payments, in your rent, your mortgage, other creditors you may have, if you have equipment, you're leasing equipment, things like that, talk to your creditors, talk to your whoever owns your mortgage, talk to your landlord, and figure out ways, see if they'd be willing to negotiate with you in terms of either lowering your payments or suspending your payments temporarily until you can generate more revenues. If they cut your interest, if you have a loan, or at least suspend it in the way, that similar to what they've done for student loans. Like I would say, go to the people that you have relationships with, that you owe, and have honest conversations with them. I mean, everybody knows that businesses are, a lot of businesses are suffering during COVID. So don't be afraid to have those conversations, with your landlord or other people that you owe, and see, what you can work out, what you can negotiate. And that may be a way, again, to help you slim some of your expenses during, difficult times. The next tip is around technology, and this is kind of obvious. For most people, we've all been on Zoom meetings. We've all, some of the technology companies have done really well as people move their businesses online to virtual platforms and things like that. But for those who are still on that platform, where the train left and you're still waiting for that next train, or you don't know you missed the train, here's what I would say to you. For those of you who run particularly service-based businesses that were so dependent on face-to-face, I think for folks who make products have figured out, or had figured out online services, online platforms of ways of selling. If you're a service-based business and you really relied on, referrals or face-to-face interaction or advertising outside of your store in the community, things like that. If you're a barber or a beauty salon owner, or you're an event planner, or, things like a lot of your work was around events, things like that. I would encourage you to think about, are there ways that you can creatively and uniquely incorporate technology into your business, right? So maybe you can't do Zoom, right? If you're a barber, you actually have to physically cut people's hair. If you're a stylist, if you do makeup, you have to, there are certain things, I get it. Like Ramona, we just can't do all technology. And a lot of businesses are not able to do that. But are there creative ways and unique ways that are unique to you, to your brand, to your business, that you can incorporate technology into your business? So if you're a product-based business, if you sell a thing, are there ways that you can use technology to boost your marketing? Either through social media or boost your sales. Maybe you use technology to provide more efficient service, right? So people can place their orders online and come to the door and pick them up. Or maybe you find a carrier that gets them, to them quicker if you're shipping, things like that. If you're a service-based business, can you use technology to improve or enhance your service delivery? I'm not saying use technology to replace service delivery, because again, there are some service-based businesses that require touch, that require that face-to-face contact. But can you use technology to enhance your service? Again, a way for you to step out. So let's use if you're a barber, or if you're a stylist or a makeup artist, are there ways, or if your business, if you're a coach and your business, your practice relies on face-to-face, are there ways that you can use technology to improve the service? Maybe in scheduling appointments, maybe in following up, right? So maybe you still have to style people's hair in person, but can you do Zoom consultations, right? So are there ways that you can enhance your service delivery with technology, so that when you have that face-to-face interaction, you've used technology in a way that makes it more efficient, that makes it better, that, really engages your customer in a way that when you're face-to-face, you've already kind of deepened that relationship or strengthened that relationship. Again, I'm not saying use technology to replace your business model or turn your business model or your service delivery model upside down. I'm just saying, are there ways that you can be creative and use it in a way that really serves your unique brand in a unique way? So I'll stop with that on the technology. The next suggestion or question is collaboration. Are there ways that you can work with other people to boost your business for each other? So are there other small business owners, other coaches, other professionals that you can collaborate, that people who are already in your sphere, people that you already know, other professionals that you, maybe your clients of theirs, are there ways that you can collaborate and find mutually beneficial relationships? I'm not saying it's a give and take, you win, they lose, but are there ways that you can collaborate together working together to reach a common goal so that you can combine your talent and expertise, learn from each other, and not only contribute to the learning of others, but contribute to your bottom line. So, are there people or organizations or businesses that you can collaborate where you can combine talent? Maybe there's someone who's really great at marketing and you're really great at service delivery. So, is there a way that you guys can work together and you used your strongest skills so that both of your businesses benefit? Are there ways that you can share clients or clientele or share services or the way that you make products? So just, I would encourage you to think about collaboration. For those of you who've ever worked in teams, you know that, oftentimes you can do more together than you can by yourself. So I would just urge you to think out of the box of ways that you may be able to collaborate. And again, use technology to collaborate. We're all meeting through Zoom. For those that are still, doing things face to face, are there ways that you can work with other people and leverage your talents and expertise and your client lists, right? Leverage your clients together to provide a better service or better product. Now, the next couple of slides are going to be hard. And I'm sharing this as a business owner who, ran a business and ran a brick and mortar store. If you're in a place in your business where you say, hey, Ramona, you know what? I've tried the technology. I'm negotiating with my creditors. I run a restaurant. I'm in a place where we cannot do dine in. Those are some real realities. I ran a food business for 8 years, so my heart really goes out to a lot of small businesses, boutique businesses, unique businesses, as well as restaurants. And so I get it. And here's what I'm going to say. If you don't give yourself permission, sometimes we feel like we can't give ourselves permission to do something different because it feels like we're giving up or we're letting go. Maybe now is a good time to take a break. If you run a business that's struggling or relies on a clientele or revenues that you haven't been able to generate because of COVID, and COVID, we're in our 8th month, it's going to be here for a while. It's okay to take a break. It's okay, depending on your situation. If you have a brick and mortar store, it may not be that easy. But if you don't, it's okay if you need to get a job, a part-time job or a full-time job to take care of your family. It doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't mean you're giving up. There's a time and a season to everything. And maybe this is a season for you to do something else. It doesn't have to be forever. It can just be for now. I know a lot of people are looking for jobs, but if you have other gifts and other skills and talents, maybe now's the time for you to take a break and develop those. So I know running a business is a different kind of grind. And if you're in it, you know what I'm talking about. It's a 24-hour a day thing, because when you're not working on your business, you feel like you should be working on your business. You feel guilty when you're not working on your business. So, it's okay to give yourself a break. If you're at a point in your business where it's stalled, it's okay to say, you know what, I'm going to get a part-time job and I'm going to plan for next year or, 2022. Or I'm still going to work the business, but I still need to do some other things to supplement my income. It's okay to take a break. The next slide is a little harder. Um, if you're at a point in your business, and we're hearing about this every day, the number of small businesses that are closing, that are never going to reopen, and that's a real awful thing. Um, it's okay. It's okay to close. It doesn't make your business, your product, your service any less amazing. And that's why I loved this sign, right? Because you can still be awesome. Everyone understands it's a global pandemic. You didn't see this coming. Maybe you weren't prepared for it, especially for businesses that were struggling before COVID. Surviving a pandemic is going to be even more difficult. It's okay to say, the time and the season for that business came. And maybe I do believe that there's something else, on the horizon. And so if you're at the point where you've been trying to figure out, do I open or do I close? it's okay to close. And this is coming from someone who had a brick and mortar space, who ran a gourmet food business for 8 years. And I had a coach who helped me. I literally, got to a point where I couldn't. I mean, I was just consumed. And someone else who had closed her business, and I'll never forget, I'm actually going to give Nick Kober a shout out. Nick Kober, woman who changed my life. She's like, Ramona, everything you needed to do in that iteration of the business, you did. And she was right. I built a business from scratch, an award winning business from scratch. I built a brick and mortar production facility and retail store, and everything I wanted to do and that iteration of the business I did. And it was time for me to do something else. I still love the business. It's still my passion. I still, have a part of it, that I still look after and nurture. But I went on a couple of years ago to financial services and helping support other business owners and other entrepreneurs and individuals. And I did that because of the financial advisor who changed my life financially and made it possible for me to run a business. So if you're at a point where you've been considering closing, I just want you to know that it's okay. It doesn't make you a failure. It just means that the season for something else has arrived. And that it's okay, to embrace that. And I'm actually going to end, on a good note. Like, I do believe that amazing seeds have been planted and are being planted during COVID. And I love this image because it's plants that are coming up through the soil. And this doesn't look like really soft soil. It almost looks like concrete or I forget the pavement. All right, it looks like soft pavement that hasn't dried. And when you look at what's coming up, I believe that's what we're in now. So, we've all planted seeds. If you're a business owner, you've been planting seeds for growth or you've been planting seeds for a new business. So maybe it's time to close this line of the business, right? This line of products, this line of services, and you planted seeds that are watering and growing and nurturing another line of business, another line of your professional life, of your gifts, of your talents, of your services. Because I do believe we're going to see amazing things, and we're seeing amazing things growing out of the pandemic. And so if you're a business owner, continue to plant those seeds. They will be watered, they will be nurtured, and great things will come. And I am going to end there.
That was awesome. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Ramona. I mean, there's a couple of things I put on my notes that I wanted to share.
Okay.
And one of those points were that closing, even if I'll start from the back and work my way up. So closing isn't necessarily failing.
That's right. It's not.
And I think that's what people battle with. It's like, oh wow, this thing hit me, and I really was doing well before this, and now I have to struggle with trying to catch up, and it feels like you've just failed. It's like, that's it. But it's really, rebirthing. That's what I think of it as, because and and that's why actually uh, Oscar picked up on it. That's why I picked the name Phoenix, because it's like, if you think it's a disaster, it's like, oh my goodness, it's over, and then you rise up more
From the
powerful than
ashes.
you rise up from the ashes, more powerful than when you went down. And life just has a way of turning around, recreating you after a disaster. And this could be that recreation for those of you. I mean, before COVID, I was at the point of just quitting my business, right? And it just during the season, it just recreated itself. It came out as this thing, and so
I
it was
think
really unpredictable. Meeting the people I'm meeting you, meeting Oscar, all of this was divine intervention, man, and it really caused my business to start developing again. And so this is for people who are thinking, man, I'm closing my business. Maybe when you get home, you're taking that break, you're sitting down, because that's exactly what happened to me. I'm just saying what happened to me. I mean, I was furloughed. I went home. I binge watched everything I could watch. I mean, I binged watched so many different movies, right? And then one day I was just like putting the trash out, and in my spirit, I just heard the voice say to me, "Try again. Just do your business one more time."
what do you have to lose at this
Right.
point? It's like, okay, there's a song that a part of a song that keeps playing in my head. I think before COVID, we were all comfortably numb.
Mm,
We went along at whatever pace we were used to. Even if it wasn't good, it was familiar. And
right.
now here comes COVID, here comes the reset button, and the phoenixes are coming out because we don't have another choice. It's not like, okay, this will be over. It's not like a snowstorm that's closing the streets for a minute and a half. This is
Mm,
this is serious. It's, and like you said, you need to binge watch, and you need to have this time of mourning and just like settle down and like get ready for the next step. One thing that runs in my brain all the time is, so what? Now what? You know, I have a
mm,
flat tire. All right, so what? I'm going to be late to whatever I'm going to. Now what? What's my next step? It's not I got a flat tire, I'm just going to sit on the side of the highway, forever. Like, no, it's so what? Now what? And what's the next step? And what Ramon is saying for businesses that are closing is equally applies to people that have been laid off. And
That's right.
that happened to me a couple of years before COVID. So I know what everyone's going through right now when you had this comfortably numb job and then it gets pulled out from under you. Like, now what? And I just ran out to see if I found a book that I have that says 7 ways to legally not pay taxes. And they all revolve around being in business for yourself, that side hustle. And what I've told people is, you don't want to start a side hustle, you know, to leave your job. You want to start a side hustle in case your job leaves you.
Mm,
And 40 million people found out in March that your job can leave you without warning. So,
yeah, that's so
everything
true.
that Ramona has said about restarting, it applies whether you're a business owner or you're an employee. The biggest difference, I think, I started reading a lot of books when my job left me. Robert
But your
Kiyosaki
job left you.
talks. Yeah, my job
sounds like
left me.
sounds
It's
like
not.
you had a bad breakup.
Yeah, it's like, don't come in. We're no longer open kind of job. And Robert Kiyosaki says that the education system in this country is backwards. You're not taught to be a business owner. You're taught to be an employee. So when you fail, you don't want a D, you don't want an F. You're the worst person in the class if you fail. Whereas a business owner mentality is, I failed at this. What did I learn? How can I bring that into my next business? Or how can I bring that into the business I already have that's failing, but I need to change things? So that entrepreneur mentality of like, okay, things are going to go wrong, things are going to fail. What am I going to learn from that failure? Like everybody talks about Thomas Edison. He didn't fail 10,000 times to make a light bulb. He just found 10,000 times the way a light bulb won't work. And if we can get that mentality of, okay, things are going wrong, what can I learn? How can I move up? And that will be a huge benefit.
yeah.
Exactly.
I think the key to there are a couple things is, most people are not going to go back the 10,000 times, right? But I think, whatever your gift is, if you're a gifted chef, or if you're a gifted stylist, or a gifted barber, or a gifted coach, the business not going the way you anticipated doesn't make you less of a gifted chef or a gifted barber
Right.
or a gifted stylist or a gifted
Right.
coach. It just means that this season, and this is my biggest lesson learned, was that, we think of the seasons as every 3 months around, the sort of the relation of the earth to the sun. And seasons in life don't work that way. You can have a season that's 8 years. For those of you who are divorced, you had a season of marriage that lasted
Right.
13 years or 8 years or 20 years.
Mhm.
For those of you that have um, children, you have a season of when you are a hands-on parent until they get to a certain age where you're a different kind of parent. So seasons in our lives are not the same as the weather seasons we
Yes.
experience. And so if you look at your career, like, and I'm going back to what Oscar said for people who have been laid off, or if you look at your business, if you're an entrepreneur, as that season of the business, there's always another season after it, right? So there's gonna be another, it depends on your favorite season. So I always use summer and winter as the opposite, because we always think it's winter as cold and dark. So if you're in a cold, dark place in your business, summer is coming, because it just doesn't stay winter forever. And I said this yesterday too, like, you're going to get to that point. The key is to, not beat yourself up and not feel stuck, and know that it's okay, and know that you're not alone. Like, that's the key too, because when you're so into your business, you feel like you're the only one
Right.
that this is happening to,
Y-
and
y-
you're not. You're not.
that's the point. I think that was the connecting factor between all of us that came on the Phoenix team, right? The connecting factor was we are all in this business thing together, right? We all want to make it. We all want our business to succeed, right? This is going to sound like a promo, but it isn't. But it really is the key factor that, I mean, networking is all about. It's connecting with people that's going to tell you, hey man, look, you know what? You're going through this, I'm going through this, but let's pull together and see how we can help each other. And I found that there are strength in numbers. And there's wisdom within a multitude of counselors. So whatever you're going through, there is somebody out there that has gone through it and can give you some answer to what you may need to do that might work for you. And there's other people that may be going through the same thing. But the key to this is stay positive.
Yeah, well, what you're saying is, you know, you're going when you have this group dynamics, not only when you find people that are in, or were in the same boat as you, but probably were worse off and found an answer.
Right.
And, rather than try to, dig yourself out of that hole, there's someone that's going to say, "Hey, I've been down this hole. I know the way out. Follow me." And that's because otherwise you are alone. And like, how do I? You don't have the answers. You
Right.
haven't been through that before. How do I get out of this hole? Alone is devastating. And to have
Absolutely.
that group to say, "You think that's a problem? Listen
Right.
to what happened to me, and
That's
this is
it.
where I am now. Come on, you're already halfway up that hole. You just don't know it." So
That is so true, man. I remember years ago. I'm going to give this short story. Years ago, I lost my job at the newspaper. Right, I worked for the newspaper. I won't say what name, and I didn't work for 1.5 years. I mean, I was looking. I was in Tennessee at the time, and jobs were scarce, right? So I was not finding anything. I mean, I was hustling like the mug. Okay. Whatever I could do, I did, right? I mean, I was working those temp agencies. I was doing whatever I could to survive, man. And then one day, listen to this, right? One day, uh, I went into this. I kept going to this spot, this place, this printing place, and I just kept going over there. And every week, almost every other week, this guy would see me coming there, like, okay, so you have any spots available yet? Right? I mean, until one day he just went, oh, what, man? You get the job because you're the only guy that's been coming here like every other week, checking to see if there's a position available, you know? And so sometimes you just never know what angle God is going to open up for you. You just never know.
Yeah, that
You just have to keep hitting it,
Yeah.
you know?
that sounds a lot like Les Brown, and Les Brown's video. Are you hungry? Is
Mhm.
exactly that story. He said he wanted to be a DJ, and he went up to this place for a job, and they said, "Do you have any experience?" He said, "No." So you can't have a job here. So he went back the next day, and he says, "Hi, has anyone quit? Has anyone died? I'd like a job." And they said, "No, get out of here." It's like the third day he came back. He's like, "Hi, I'm Les Brown," and the guy says, "Go get me some coffee." He's like, and that was his way in. And look it up on YouTube. Les Brown, Are You Hungry? It's a fantastic story. And it's
Yeah.
like, how hungry are you? Are you? That's I think that is another key. How hungry are you to get to the next step, to feed yourself, whatever it is. If you're
Yeah.
looking for handouts, that's just a blanket that's keeping you down. That's not helping you out. Again, I'll go back to Kiyosaki, who said he lived 2 months in his car rather than get a job, because he knew as soon as he got a job, he'd be comfortably numb with a paycheck and not reach his potential.
Yeah, I don't, I don't like what I mean, I read the book. I don't totally agree with that because no matter what job I've always had that hunger to have my own business. I mean, if I was having a job, my idea was this job is helping me to have my own business. So
This is
I
keeping
don't
me fed until.
until right. This is temporary. This is going to be my bridge to having my business. So I don't think it has to be like a cut and dry kind of a thing. If you can, especially in the age of technology, as you pointed out. For those of you who are not tech friendly, use technology to your advantage. It's there. It has resources that can enhance what you're doing. And if you just learn, just open your mind, open your heart, open your spirit to learning. Learning something new, doing something different. You'll be surprised how you evolve and transform. A butterfly, a worm is surprised when it turns into a butterfly because before it just was crawling everywhere it went, but it went through this like traumatic stage of transformation, and the next thing you know, he wakes up and he has wings. Right? That's a transformation. I mean, he's got to get a whole different mindset of going around going around now, because now he can fly. A lot of times we're going through things and we have no idea why we're in that position. But the moment that we get in our space of creativity and in that, survival, boom, that magic moment kind of kicks in where you're like, I'm going to get something. Something's going to happen.
Well, you're
I got
being
I got one
transformed.
quick question.
Wait, no,
Mhm.
go ahead, Ramona. And
No,
then,
let me
Good.
ask his question.
Okay, because you said something, tax harvesting. I've never heard that before. What does that mean? I'm like, that's a new word. See, I've learned
So,
something today.
okay, so briefly, and this is where your accountant can be really helpful, but there's a way that you can harvest, meaning you can deduct losses on investments. And I can talk to you a little bit about it offline, but your accountant will definitely, if you say tax harvesting, your accountant will definitely know. And usually they'll work with their financial advisor so that you can figure out, like, and this is particularly for people who have investments. If you have stocks and you've lost, maybe your stocks have declined, there's a way that you can offset your losses with your gains, using tax harvesting.
Got it. All right.
Yeah.
So now I'm good. I filled in that
and if you want to know
deductions on
more
losses
about
and
that, you need
investment.
to reach out to Ramona.
Yeah,
And
you can.
so you can learn how to get through that process. That's why she's on our program. because everybody's situation is different. So you need to, reach out to the experts, reach out to Ramona. Her information is going to be on our website. So you could go to phoenixnationalbusinessgroup.com or philipreed.org, and you'll just type in Ramona Thomas. You'll see her on our own page on the site. So reach out to her there or go on LinkedIn.
Yep. You can definitely find me on LinkedIn. The only
Definitely
thing
find her on LinkedIn. Go
the
ahead.
only thing I wanted to say before we close is the comment about, sleeping in your car, doing whatever it takes. I think it's everyone's unique, everyone's situation and circumstances are very different. If you have children, and
Right.
getting a job versus sleeping in your car, like there's just certain decisions people are not going to make, and they shouldn't feel like they have to,
Right.
based on their family circumstances. And so it doesn't mean you're any less persistent or any less tenacious, but you do have to take care of, the responsibilities that you have, with your family and other obligations. So I just don't want people to feel like they're not trying hard enough if they go get a job, whether it's
Right.
temporary or not, or that, like, I don't want people to think less of them, because it's just not, it's just not the case. There is a
Right.
time, there's a time and a season for every purpose. And so just understanding in your own world,
Mm-hmm.
what that time and season is really important.
I totally agree, because that's that. When you said take a break, I was like, that is revolutionary
It's
because
okay.
because that for some people is like, take a break. If I take a break, the whole world is going to fall apart, and my house and my car and the kids and the school, and you start, I mean, you said take a break, and half the people had a heart attack.
Well,
But and
again,
those are the same people that need it the most.
That's exactly
well, here's
right.
when we take a break, we go, find something for recreation, right? And recreation, if you break that word down, it's recreation, and you
Right.
can't go forward until you recreate. That's why you need that break. You need the recreation break, or they just stop and sit in front of YouTube for a day and a half or a week and say, okay, let me get rid of that last season,
Mhm.
and what's the new season coming in? How do I get started? And you can't do it if your brain is still cluttered with what you were doing before. So yeah, you need that break. Like, okay, start again.
Right.
It's scary. It's different. Yeah, but
Reset.
But it's
it's a
necessary.
learning
Yeah.
process. Yes.
And it's okay to reset.
Yep.
It's
We
okay.
talked about that
We
yesterday.
got the
So if
whole
you need a
world. We got the
personal
whole world
reset,
resetting.
yeah,
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
promoting my own sessions. If you need a personal reset, watch that session.
Exactly. Exactly. I would love having you on, Ramona. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. My pleasure always.
Great information. Again, I'm going to keep telling people you need to reach out to Ramona on LinkedIn, okay? And get her, talk to her, get the conversation. And you will find that it will change the paradigm of your life, okay? Take care, everyone. And we
Thank
will be
you.
back again. We have a few programs coming up today. So we will see you